Prime Minister Modi has held a meeting with economists at the Niti Aayog ahead of the budget session set to commence on the 31st of January. So this is the latest news that has come in. The Prime Minister has held a meeting with economists at Niti Aayog. This is of course to apprise the Prime Minister of certain issues ahead of the budget session, which is set to commence on the 31st of January. This is a meeting that takes place annually between the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, as well as economists at the Niti Aayog, and all eyes, of course, are on a very crucial budget before the next elections in 2024. So the Prime Minister there interacting with economists at the Niti Aayog, several economists and experts with the Prime Minister. My colleague Paridhi joins us back on the broadcast. Paridhi, what more can you share with our viewers?
Absolutely, Devika, we've been given to understand that the Prime Minister is currently holding a meeting with economists of Niti Aayog, and the visuals on our television screens on the left are visuals that have come in just moments ago of the Prime Minister chairing this meeting with economists of the Niti Aayog alongside the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. We've been given to understand, Devika, that the meeting is to seek opinions and suggestions of the economists, and this of course comes ahead of the budget session, which is all set to commence on January 31st of this month. It's going to conclude on April 6th, and there's of course going to be a recess in between, is what we've been given to understand. But it's important to note that this meeting that is now being held with economists is to assess the state of the Indian economy as well as its challenges ahead of the union budget session. We also have an economist with us in the broadcast, Devika, who's going to be able to give us a better understanding of what this meeting could possibly, entail.
Okay, Paridhi, thank you for joining us. Sharad Kohli also with us on the broadcast. Sharad, like I said, this is going to be a very important budget. It's ahead of the 2024 elections, so all eyes will be on what the government essentially is going to announce on, starting 31st January. What are your expectations, and what is it that you are picking up on?
I think, Devika, it's going to be a very challenging budget for this government because, as you rightly said, this is going to be the last full-fledged budget of this government, because the next budget, which is going to be on the 1st of February 2024, is going to be an interim budget, or it just might be a vote on account. So this is the last opportunity for this government to make sure that the momentum which the economy has picked up post-COVID and post-Russia-Ukraine conflict, to maintain that. I think the three-word theme which remains for this budget, we call it as the budget 23-24. I think the first theme or first objective would be to support this momentum. The momentum should continue, the momentum should be maintained, and the country should continue to remain as a bright spot. We heard Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF chief, speaking about India being the bright spot, and we've been hearing this: India being a shining star, being the bright spot amongst the emerging economies, in the world, in fact. So I think the first objective would be to support this momentum. The second objective would be to make sure that whatever sectors have not recovered, they should also recover. Because there was a part K-shaped recovery, not exactly a K-shaped recovery, because it was a V-shaped recovery in many regards, but in some regards it was a K-shaped recovery. Some of the sectors, for example, a part of the MSME sector, the unorganized sector, poverty, there are some issues where K-shaped trend is being noticed. I think the government's objective would be to make those sectors recover. And then, of course, the third and the most important objective which will run through the budget would be to build up this growth momentum, because 6 and 7% is the forecast of various agencies, whether it's RBI, whether it's government itself, whether it's international agencies. So between 6 and 7% is the average rate of growth. And I think the biggest challenge before the government would be, because 2023, as the international financial agencies have spoken, that this year 1/3 of the world will see recession. So I think, which is almost being confirmed from all quarters, despite the fact that inflation is now coming under control. But I think focus will shift from inflation to recession. So I think the economy will face headwinds from the international quarters. So I think it will be a challenge for the government to make sure that the country continues to grow despite those headwinds, especially from the developed world. I'm talking of the Eurozone. I'm talking of America, which also may, sink into recession, although right now it's not. Maybe there is a mild recession in certain sectors, but it's not principally in recession. So therefore, the challenge before the government would be how to deal with these headwinds, because countries' exports, I remember Prime Minister spoke at a forum a few weeks ago that for the first time when he was speaking about the achievements of 2022, one of the achievements, Devika, was that the country managed to touch 400 crores of export of merchandise. So I think this will be one thing which will take a hit if the world sinks into recession, or shall I say the major part of world sinks into recession. So maintaining exports and continuing to have FDIs, that would be another challenge. Yes, Devika.
All right, Sharad, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.